This council meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of May 1st, 2023 was included in the list of meetings published in the Courier News and Star Ledger. Notice of this meeting was also placed on the bulletin board of Borough Hall and announced on the borough's website. A copy of this notice is available to the public, and a copy of this statement shall be included in the minutes of this meeting. Mayor Dennis Sullivan.
Here.
Council members Granville Brady.
Here.
Tom Mitchell.
Here.
Gina Stravic is excused this evening. Roger Vroom.
Here.
Fred Weed is excused this evening. Randy Pitts is also excused this evening.
All right. Want an opinion from our council that we have a quorum to do regular business with several exceptions.
That's correct, for the purposes of conducting regular business.
Thank you. All right. I'm asking you to stand for the flag salute, and I would like to call on Mr. Paul Soltis, curator of the Wallace House, to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll make a slight deviation to our agenda. I'll explain Mr. Soltis' attendance tonight, other than leading us in the pledge. We have a resolution tonight. Resolution 23-0501-153, a resolution of the Borough of Somerville, County of Somerset, New Jersey, supporting Revolution NJ. Revolution NJ is one of many groups that is preparing for the celebration of the 250th anniversary of our country. It will start taking place probably in 2024 in certain parts of the country, 2025. And of course, 2026 being the 250th of the shot heard around the world. I will read the resolution in full and then present it to Mr. Soltis and ask him to display it proudly at our historic site, the Wallace House in Old Oak Parsonage. I'd like to also welcome Dr. Margaret Sullivan from our History Committee in support of the resolution. Resolution 23-0501-153. A resolution of the Borough of Somerville, County of Somerset, New Jersey, supporting Revolution NJ. Whereas Governor Philip Murphy and the New Jersey State Legislature created Revolution NJ in 2018 to plan, encourage, develop, and coordinate the commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States, New Jersey's pivotal role in the American Revolution, and the contributions of its diverse peoples to the nation's past, present, and future. And whereas the New Jersey Historic Commission, under the leadership of Secretary of State Tahisha Way, with its nonprofit partner Crossroads of the American Revolution, established Revolution NJ to advance the role that history plays in public discourse, community engagement, education, tourism, and scholarship in New Jersey. Whereas the Wallace House, located at 71 Somerset Street, Somerville, New Jersey, 08776, became a museum in 1897 with the help of the Revolutionary Memorial Society. Be it therefore resolved that the Historic Advisory Committee commemorates the 250th anniversary of the establishment of the United States as an independent nation. The Historic Advisory Committee authorizes the appointment of a committee to develop a plan for this commemoration that will promote the maximum involvement of our residents, our neighborhoods, businesses, schools, civic organization, and institutions in the commemorations. The Historic Advisory Committee further urges all its residents to reflect upon the significance of this event and the role that our state and its diverse people have played in the history and development of our nation, and to participate in this important commemoration, endeavoring to include the stories of all those whose lives are part of the history of what we know as New Jersey. And understanding the revolution continues as we uphold the revolutionary ideals articulated in our founding document. And it's signed by myself and our clerk, Kevin Sluka, 5123. Need a motion from council to endorse.
Second.
Roll call.
Council members Granville Brady.
Yes.
Tom Mitchell.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz, it's my pleasure to present hot off the presses. I would ask you to display this proudly in for Wallace House and Old Oak Parsonage for the hopefully millions of visitors that will come not only visit Somerville's historic site, visit our downtown and our recreation facilities as well. So it's my pleasure to present this to you and, again, display it in good health.
Of course. And thank you all for your support.
Congratulations. In addition, I would invite the public watching and in attendance to, if you haven't visited the Wallace House recently, please do so. With a new curator the last several years, a lot more programming is going on. You'll see a lot of physical improvements. National Park Service has endowed the site with a $500,000 federal grant, not a loan, a grant that will go towards some very needed stabilization and improvement in the property to improve the visitor experience. I know Mr. Soltis is involving our schools. Years and years ago, every fourth grade student went through the site, and over time it's been less and less able to do so. But with the improvements, I would expect a lot more interest. And if you have not visited at all, if you're new to town and looking for a great event, Wednesday through Sunday,
Historic House of Stores.
and just check their website for upcoming programming. It's not just about the revolution. There are many, many layers to that site, and I would encourage you to go. Rich O'Neill and I, of course, were there when the house was built. But
Worked on it.
you worked on it, okay. Well, you're a little older than me. But again, it's the joke is Washington slept here. That's true here in Somerville, and it is a treasure, and it deserves the attention it's going to get, and it deserves your attention as a resident. It contributes a great deal to our fabric. So I wish you well, and look forward to the improvements. Keep the borough posted as to what's going on, and any way that we can assist the efforts to keep that jewel polished.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Council. And Borough.
All right. We have one set of minutes for April 17th.
So moved. Second.
Council members, Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yeah.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Right, departmental reports and notices. I do not believe there are any on the agenda tonight.
None listed.
All right, committee reports. We'll start with Mr. Mitchell to my left.
Okay, just one. The county scoot shuttle has changed its schedule for the Route 860 that goes through Somerville. Kevin, can we make sure that this is on the web page somewhere?
Sure.
Thank you very much. Do you know how that would be accessed? Would that be off the Borough web page?
That will be, I'll discuss with Patty as to where it's best to be located, that link. It may be on there already, Tom, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. I'm pretty sure the county has it.
Yes, yeah, we received the amended schedule as well.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
All right, Councilor Crowe.
Obviously, as we all know, we had a significant amount of rain over the past few days. It cannot be understated. Do not drive through water, please. Your safety as residents is paramount. Today, the fire department and Rescue 54 were called out to Southside Avenue, right in front of Chambers Park, where a resident tried to drive through the water and had his car taken off towards the woods. If you're looking up the hill on Southside Avenue, the gentleman was coming down Southside Avenue. The car got swept off. If you're looking again going up the hill to the left side through the fencing, didn't go through the fencing, but around very close to that area. The thing that we don't know is, number one, how deep the water is. The other thing we don't know is, while water might look stagnant on top, might not be moving, underneath there could be currents that are happening. Again, the driver came down and the car got pushed. We sent out a rescuer. The person was on top of the roof of their car. The rescuer went out there very carefully with a tether. We were able to get that person off the car and walk them back safely to shore. They were seen by our emergency services and handed over, because it was on the Bridgewater side, handed over to the Bridgewater Police Department for working with that person, and as well as organizing to have a tow out of that water. Again, the comment that was said to us was that other people were seen driving through it, so the attempt was made. Don't do that. Please don't do that. The old saying is turn around, don't drown. That's the best medicine. Do not try to drive through water you don't know how deep it is, and you don't know what's going on under what may look like a very calm top. There's lots that go along with that. So just again, water is very powerful. Your safety as our residents is number one, and we don't want to have to come out and rescue you on the roof of your car. We will, but we don't want to have to we don't want you to put yourself in that circumstance.
And then just as importantly, if you see barricades or cones up, please respect them.
And
I understand in this case,
there were cones.
there was
cones.
a visible warning
Yes.
that was ignored and avoided.
There were cones that were up, and they were driven around, to my knowledge. So again, just be safe out there, please. We know that the areas in our borough flood, and surrounding areas as well. Just be careful as you traverse. Again, if it takes 2 more minutes to get to where you need to go, take that time. It's much better than finding out that you need to swim to wherever you're going. And I make light, but it's not
Especially that close to the sewer treatment plant.
Yes, no one wants to go in that water.
Thank you, and thank the fire department and the squad for their life-saving abilities. Dr. Brady.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Mayor Sullivan and I attended the Board of Education meeting last week where they approved their 2023 budget, and Mayor Sullivan may wish to comment on this in his report. I also attended the DARE graduation assembly at Vanderveer School on April 19th. The program was put together by officers Nicole DiBiase and Cole Ficara. The students' essays were excellent. Their posters really hit the mark against substance abuse, and these are 5th graders, mind you. I was most impressed by the officers that included bullying and self-esteem as part of their curriculum. And Somerville schools are definitely ahead of the curve, because I was so impressed by the enthusiasm of the children and also the officers, and a large number of parents who showed up. Finally, the Board of Health met last week. They received a complaint about rats infesting a neighborhood near an abandoned house in the area. The area is on the safe routes to school, and the health department unanimously declared the infestation to be a health problem that needed immediate attention. So for your information, and for the people who are watching at home, if there are properties that have not been maintained, or if there's evidence of vermin, you should call the code enforcement as soon as possible, because these are health issues that must be taken care of immediately. And that's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. We had chatted about possibly having those essay winners come in to either our next meeting or the first meeting in June before school ends. So I would like to do that. I believe there's 6 of them.
Yeah, I think so, right.
One for each homeroom.
Yeah. And the posters, actually, it was the posters that were really great, because you had a much better idea of how the youngsters view the problem of drug abuse rather than how the teachers do.
Councilman, would you coordinate that? The
Yes.
schools?
Yeah.
I would offer either the 15th or whatever that first Monday of June would be. Okay. Good. All right. I have just a few quick items. Following up on my comments at the last meeting about the recycling buckets, I reached out to Somerset County, and they have ordered several new trucks that have the capability with the arms to pick up those new buckets. The trucks are on order, and I know we've ordered a few vehicles for our use that are still subject to supply chain issues. So once the new trucks are in, I've been assured that the countywide schedule for getting the new buckets will resume. But I don't know when that'll be. So hopefully the buckets are somewhere in a warehouse, but there are no trucks to pick them up yet. But I'll stay on top of that and give them a call every month to find out, if they have an idea. As Dr. Brady mentioned, we attended the Board of Ed meeting the other night at which they presented their final budget for the upcoming school year. I asked the question, as I did last year, about the enrollment in the schools, because there's been some concern from the public that our redevelopment efforts are generating, a burden on the schools with many new students. According to the facts and figures that the Board of Ed presented last week, the K-8 population in Somerville is estimated to go down 5 students from the current year to the new school year. And the total enrollment, K-12, from Somerville is anticipated to be the same. There's going to be a slight drop in the high school population because the numbers of students being sent here on a tuition basis from Branchburg is dropping a small amount each year and is expected to do so over the next decade. But right now, the numbers that they provided to us show basically no change in the entire K-12 budget. And actually, and again, we have a lot of mobility. Those numbers could change as kids move in and move out in the summer. But the projections that they're working upon show basically a flat school-age population. If you have any questions about the specific terms of the budget, the impact, I don't believe they provided that to us yet.
No.
All right, so we don't have the final figures. I would advise you to call the Board of Education office directly. The school business administrator can probably provide you with those numbers. Eventually, we'll get all the components of our tax bill, and then we'll have a final rate. We know what our impact will be. I don't want to speak out of school and project their impact, but they will have that relatively soon because their budget has been approved by the county superintendent as well as voted upon by the Board of Education.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, we did receive the A4 form yesterday.
Yes, yesterday, okay. All right.
Yes, that's the normal certification.
Okay.
Get to us that we executed that.
So once we get the county component, we'll have a final tax rate,
Yes.
and the bills should go out July for August 1. Maybe.
That's
That's our goal.
the game plan.
That's our goal.
Yes.
Okay. Final thing I have, we received certification from Somerset County that the 25-mile-an-hour speed limits on Somerset Street and East Main Street have been approved by the Board of Commissioners. It's just a question now of manufacturing the signs and putting them up. So once the signs are up, the speed limits can be enforced. We're still waiting to hear from DOT. Correct, Evan, on their schedule?
Correct. I'll follow up with both of them. They're both, they expected them to be both completed in the month of May, which is here today. So
And as I mentioned previously, we're going to be starting through Patty Hunt's Office of Communication Affairs, a very aggressive campaign on, we haven't come up with a slogan yet, but something to the effect as the councilman talked about driving through water, something like, stay alive, drive 25, or, if you're in town, slow down. We'll come up with something clever and catchy that will reinforce to the public, we're not enforcing to write tickets, we're enforcing to save lives. And hopefully, by the summer, every street in town will be 25, and they'll be properly signed and dutifully enforced. So that's all I know. Our next item is the hearing on our budget. Due to quorum issues, we cannot have a council vote on the budget tonight because it requires 4 council votes to pass a budget because of monetary constraints. But I will take a motion to open the public hearing on the 2023 municipal budget.
So moved.
Second?
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yeah,
Roger Broom.
Yes.
Public hearing on the budget that was introduced back in April. Floor is open. Hearing no comment or questions, motion to close?
So moved. Second?
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Let the minutes reflect that Kevin, I would anticipate voting on that budget then on May 15th.
Mayor, we did receive a couple of questions on the.
Oh, that's
email
right, I had a note to ask you, go ahead.
So, one of the questions was, where can I find the cost for the emergency facility and the budget, the emergency services facility? And it is not in the 2023 budget. It will not be, part of the budget until it is built, and, payments will be most likely in '24, assuming the schedule is, adhered to. But in 2023 budget is not part of that budget.
We will probably have to anticipate some costs next year if we feel that the lease will kick in the latter part of '24. We would have to anticipate at least some time period.
That's correct. Probably like the last quarter of 2024, I would think.
Okay.
Maybe.
But it's, nevertheless, it's not part of the 2023 budget. And then the other question was, with all the roads that are being built in Somerset development, how does that impact the maintenance and snow budget for DPW? There shouldn't be any maintenance on the roads because they're brand new roads. So, and until they're given to the borough, the roads that are the boroughs, it would be on the developer to do the snow removal. Once it is given to the borough, our snow removal budget is $36,000, around that each year. And then we also have a snow trust that if it's a bad snow year, that we can utilize if the appropriation is not enough.
And this past year, we should have had a decent surplus, we hope, unless we get a very bad late fall and early winter.
Right, so we have about $80,000 in the snow trust now. But each year, whatever we don't use and the appropriation is put into the snow trust, and that's how we've been building it.
I remember back in 1995, our first year on council, you might remember, Mr. Brady, we had 3 blizzards in the first 2 weeks of January. And the budget was depleted and the snow trust was depleted. And it was a rude awakening to borough government at that time. Mother Nature's gone opposite now. She had mercy on us this past year, but I still remember the winter of 95 when we were searching for places to dump snow because there was no place to put it.
It was a real challenge to the chairman of the finance committee back there.
And the public works area. Good. That was the only questions we had.
That was the only questions. And just so you know, the snow trust is no longer the snow trust. It's now called the storm recovery trust. And it is for things like Ida. And there is there's money in there as well from the hurricane that is separated from what the snow money is. So, because eventually we're gonna have to deal with DPW.
Did you respond to those 2 questions?
Well, we said we would respond in the public hearing.
Oh, okay.
So
That's fine.
that's supposed to respond.
All right. All right, our next item is the 2023 municipal budget and user-friendly budget adoption. That's what we have to table, correct?
Correct. That's
Okay.
correct. No action on it.
All right, so we will do that. We will do that as well. And I anticipate. Motion to, we need a motion to table?
I don't think it's necessary.
No. All right. Because we're actually, we will pass it the next time, assuming we have, the quorum. Okay. No items for discussion?
No.
All right. One ordinance for introduction, 2708, 230501, repealing Chapter 82 of the Borough Code entitled Floodplains and Flood Hazard Area, and creating Chapter 102, Section 127, entitled Flood Damage Prevention, designating a floodplain administrator, providing for severability and an effective date. Motion for introduction only.
So moved.
Second?
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes, for introduction.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Do we anticipate having that on
I do.
for the next
So
meeting?
this
It's
is-
going to go to Environmental Commission
I did already.
already, and Planning Board?
I didn't, it's not required to go to the planning
Oh,
board.
okay.
It's, it's required to go to the DEP, which it did. And actually, it's a very odd ordinance. We actually introduced this once already,
Right.
and the DEP rejected our language, and we had to amend the language. That's why we have to reintroduce it.
And this one
It's
mirrors,
mandatory.
this one mirrors their language.
Yeah, we've got a letter from them saying that they've approved this introduction.
And I want to make sure there's language in there requiring purchasers and tenants to be notified if they're moving in the flood.
There is not that language in there.
It's not.
It's not. So this is what I would suggest to the Borough Council, is the Borough Council needs to adopt this at the next meeting. The deadline actually is May 1st for adoption by the DEP. I know we're introducing it, however, they just got the approvals to us. This is a part of the MS4 permits requirement that no one seems to love. However, this is required. My suggestion would be that the Borough Council move forward with this on the adoption as well, and then if they seek to amend it, then we can amend it and speak to the DEP about that. I'm trying to avoid a penalty in this process. That would be my suggestions to the governing body.
All right, we have two ordinances for public hearing and adoption. We'll take them separately. 2706, 23-0417, amending Chapter 102, Section 74, removing the requirement for minor site plan for sidewalk cafes that are seasonal in nature and establishing regulations for seasonal sidewalk cafes in Chapter 150, Article 3.
So, Mayor, the planning board gets 45 days in the statute to review these ordinances. However, they reviewed this one, but we did not receive comments back from them within the 45-day period, so we're unable to proceed with an adoption at this time. So I would suggest that you have a motion to table this, and we'll wait for their comments from the next planning board meeting.
Okay. Motion
Move
to
to
table.
table.
Second?
Motion to table, Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Okay. Next ordinance then for public hearing and adoption, 2707-23-0417, amending Schedule A permitted uses and structures for the Eastern Central Business District. Motion for public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Public hearing, any comments, questions? Hearing none, motion to close.
So moved.
Second?
Good. Okay. Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
All right, motion for adoption.
So moved.
Second, should we explain what this is?
In a nutshell,
Understand it?
Schedule A in the business district lists the types of businesses that are permitted, conditionally permitted, or not allowed at all. Borough's been approached by a company that wants to wants to open a meadery. And I'll try to spell it. I guess it's M-E-A-D-E-R-Y. And I pride myself on my language skills, and I had to research what it is. It's a brew pub that specializes in mead, which is a traditionally British honey-based drink. And there are only two in the state, to my knowledge, and they're extremely popular with folks that like mead. So right now, that type of use is not permitted because it was never anticipated. Land use changes over time. There was a time when apartments on the second floor on Main Street were prohibited. And as culture and lifestyles evolve and morph, land use has to change as well. It was never anticipated that we would need a permitted use for a meadery because it just wasn't on anybody's radar. With this change to the land use, the business would be allowed and would be allowed to submit plans and go through the regular approval process with a hearing before the planning. Did I get that right?
You got it right.
Okay. So that's
You did it.
that's what we're voting on. Any comment, question from council? No? What, we still in the public? Yeah.
You
No.
closed
We
public.
closed the
You have
public, okay,
motion
so
to
we're
adopt.
ready,
Now
we're ready to adopt. Okay, so we need a roll call.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Let the mead flow, I guess. All right, we're at the open public meeting
Decision
session.
with a stein of mead.
A stein, I don't know, you'd have a stein of beer, I don't know what you'd have. A tankard, maybe a tankard?
A tankard of mead.
Mr. Salters probably could have answered that if I had asked him to stay. But tankard's a good one.
I've been to the 1 meter is, so they
What do they serve it in?
they serve it in like a no, it was more like a, I mean, I had, kind of a sleeve, so it's a couple small glasses, but they serve it in almost like a wine glass, and it's certainly, it's not a, I'm not gonna describe it as beer, but it's certainly an acquired taste of it.
I would, having had a small, a wee dram, I would agree with that description. But it's evidently quite popular in some circles, so let's let them make their presentation, and the planning board will vet it thoroughly. All right, so we need a roll call on this.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Roger
All
Vroom.
right, I think we did that twice.
We did that twice.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was for the opening. to
And,
the
no, that's
public.
open public meeting. Okay, I haven't had any mead today, so. All right, I need a motion to open for public.
So moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
All right. Public session. Hearing no public comment, motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
All right, we have a series of consent resolutions. 154 has been pulled from this agenda, will appear at a subsequent agenda. 153 we took care of. I would like to pull 155 for comment. Does council have any? Okay, I'll summarize these. 152, appointing Jason Krasker to serve on the Municipal Alliance Commission and Youth Services Committee. 156, awarding a contract to Nielsen Ford in the amount of $62,000 and change for a 2023 Ford F-10. 157, appointing John Flores to a regular position on the zoning board. He currently serves as an alternate. 158, appointing Eric Alvarez to an alternate position on the zoning board. He also, he was moving up from alternate 2 to alternate 1. 159 is a change order to the final contract for Your Way Construction for the 2021 road improvement program. And 160 is authorizing the return of a performance bond for 40 Haynes Street. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
155, accepting the resignation of Dan Rajevitz from the Zoning Board of Adjustment, effective immediately. I need a motion.
So moved. Second.
I'd just like to comment, Mr. Rajevitz has served on the zoning board, I believe, for at least 25 years. And just extremely knowledgeable, caring individual. A quarter of a century. It's, volunteers come and go. We've been very fortunate in our borough that some volunteers come and stay. And to serve, on that board for that long a period deserves our great thanks. And I would put Mr. O'Neill on the spot, even though it's not public. We'd like to just give one reflection on Dan's tenure there.
He's an amazing member. His depth of knowledge of construction, architecture, and overall feeling for Somerville, how things work is outstanding. And we've been on the board pretty much together a lot of the time. And he'll be well missed, and we'll love to be missed.
Thank you. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
If you would draft a letter of thanks to him under my signature and just let him know that he should come to the meeting and sit in the audience. All right, bills and vouchers.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe we can still pay them even though we're not a full house.
Yeah, you can offer it.
Of course, we could save money if we.
You're asking, yeah.
Huh? We could save a few.
No, they have to be paid anyway.
Well-
I checked with the attorney, he did.
If someone were to second my motion, I move the payment of bills and vouchers for $1,178,515.65.
Second?
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes?
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Okay. I need a motion for adjournment, Mr. Mitchell.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? See you in 2 weeks. Meeting adjourned.
Right.